Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball High, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, Hud, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. Hope you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. So we're going to go through a list again of the players that are free agents list on the trade market, supposedly, and talk about who got signed where and who's going to be going where to. So I would mention that I have a channel called the Prospect Hut, which I talk about Mets prospects. I'll put this link into it, trying to get to 1,000 subs, get awfully close to 900, and trying to sort of get it completely monetized. I would really appreciate it if you go there and check it out. There's no fluff there. It's just me reading different articles and just giving you all the information I can find on the internet if you're a Met fan. So here we go. At the top, Shohei Ohtani. Where did he go? Well, show me the money. Isn't that the truth? Show me the money. He went for the most money, but it's all about winning for a guy that's never won, a guy who's been on the team the last 2 years, won 73 games. He certainly did a great job with the offense and the pitching. He certainly made all of his teammates better the last 2 years. But it's not because it's $700 million. No. I would say that it's because it's 460. You don't know math like the media does. It's not 700. Even though it says it's 700, it's really 460. Next up, Juan Soto went to the Yankees, and a trade that is like a disaster for the Padres. They took in a whole bunch of middle infielders and a backup catcher for one of the great hitters of our age. And it'll be interesting to see what happens to him next year. He could be a Met next year. I said not spend any money this offseason. And they have at least, $86 million coming off the books next year, with Verlander coming off the books and Scherzer coming off the books. So that's a lot of money that could go somewhere else. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, another guy who has not pitched in the majors, got $325 million from the Dodgers, most money he could have possibly made. Of course, it was about winning, and of course, it's about him hiding behind the shadow of Shohei Ohtani. Very interesting. Next up, Cody Bellinger. Now, Bellinger was supposedly going to the Yankees until they made the Soto deal. But according to my list, I got the Cubs, the Giants, maybe not so much now with Jung-Ho Lee going there, the Red Sox, and Toronto. I'm hearing Toronto and the Cubs. Those two names I'm hearing. Next up, Aaron Nola. Where'd he go? Well, it's funny you should ask. He went to the Phillies. Got a 7-year deal. Here's a trade candidate. Corbin Burns. Where's he going to go? I got a bunch of names here, a bunch of team names. The Phillies, the Cardinals, Arizona. I've heard the Yankees have been talking to the Brewers. I'm reading that. A public source, MLB Insider, is a public source that I use. I won't put the Mets in this. Maybe the Dodgers, maybe not now with them getting that world beater Glasnow. The Rangers, the Padres, the Angels, and the Giants. The desperate Giants trying to get themselves a big player on that team. Willie Adames, he could be moved. I'd say the Dodgers are in on him, possibly Tampa, and I've heard the Braves here or there. Blake Snell. I've heard the Giants, the Red Sox, and lately I've heard the Yankees. I'll throw a couple of other names here. The Phillies, the Diamondbacks, maybe not so much now, because they got Eduardo Rodriguez. The Cubs, the Rangers, the Cardinals, the Angels, and the Padres. Back to the Padres. Jordan Montgomery, possibly going back to the Rangers, possibly going back to the Yankees, possibly going back to the Cardinals, possibly going to Boston. Matt Chapman. Team I keep hearing is the Giants or Tampa. Toronto. Sonny Gray, as you know, signed with the Cardinals. Eduardo Rodriguez signed with the Diamondbacks. Josh Hader. I've heard the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, the Rangers. Lately, I've heard the Dodgers, and I put the Yankees in here. Keep an eye on the Yankees with him. Because if they are desperate as they seem to be, at least Brian Cashman seems to be desperate. He doesn't want to get fired. If they don't make the playoffs, they don't do well next year, go to the World Series, Brian Cashman's going to get fired. I think that's why they made the Soto deal. Marcus Stroman. I've heard the Royals prominently. Houston, Arizona, the Cubs, and the Angels. Shota Managa. The Red Sox, the Giants, the Padres. I've heard the Mets a little bit. The Yankees, the Cubs, and I would say the Dodgers are probably off of that list. I can't imagine bringing in another Japanese player at this point. Although they still kind of could use some pitching. Jimmy Candelario signed with the Reds. Jung-Ho Lee signed with the Giants. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. signed with the Diamondbacks. Mitch Garver on Christmas Eve signed with the Mariners. Lucas Giolito. I've heard Tampa. That guy's made to order for Tampa, isn't he? San Diego. The Braves. I guess I would take the Dodgers out of that since they got Glasnow. The Mets I've heard prominently. Boston. Baltimore. Possibly Kansas City. Interesting to see what Kansas City does. They're all like waxing poetic about Kansas City doing better next year. We'll see. Kevin Kiermaier, the Yankees. Or maybe not so much now because they got in Grissom and Verdugo. Boston, Minnesota, Miami. I would take the Mets off of that because they traded for Tyrone Taylor. Jorge Soler. I haven't heard too much about him. The Giants, Seattle, the Angels, Rice Hoskins, Miami, Seattle, San Diego, the Cubs, which would have an effect on the Pete Alonso situation, Milwaukee, and the Washington Nationals. That's a new team here. It's the only place I have the Nationals on this list. Teoscar Hernandez, Miami, Milwaukee, the Angels, and recently the Red Sox and the Padres. Seth Lugo signed with the Royals. Harrison Bader, I haven't talked much about him. Boston, the Tigers, San Francisco, and up until recently the Mets. J.D. Martinez. Well, the Dodgers are out. Seattle, San Francisco, Miami. I would say the Mets not so much because I think the Mets are more interested in Justin Turner. Well, it's funny I should mention Justin Turner. He's next on the list. But there are other teams involved. Seattle, Miami, and Arizona. I see him, as the birds love to join in when I talk. I see the Mets signing Justin Turner. Michael Wacha went to the Royals. Kyle Gibson went to the Cardinals. Jack Flaherty went to the Tigers. Yuki Matsui went to the Padres. Jordan Hicks, I've heard the Phillies, the Giants, Arizona, and the Yankees. I've heard Yario Rodriguez, which I did a video on him on Christmas. Houston, Toronto, the Yankees, and Pittsburgh. Michael A. Taylor. We heard the Mets, but I'm thinking that's not going to happen now. I've heard Toronto, Boston, Cincinnati. Tommy Pham, the Yankees, the Angels, and Milwaukee. Luis Severino, as you know, went to the Mets. Ahmed Rosario and Tim Anderson. I'm hearing the same teams. The Giants, the White Sox, Oakland, Tampa. Now, Tampa's interesting because the whole craziness with Wander Franco. Let's see. Brandon Woodruff. Any team goes. He's injured, who knows. Tyler Glasnow went to the Dodgers. Dylan Cease, I've heard Atlanta, the Boston Red Sox, Baltimore, Yankees, and Cincinnati. Shane Bieber, I've heard Cincinnati, the Cubs, Baltimore, and the Yankees. Interestingly enough. Finally, a couple of final things here. I think a trade between the Rays and the Mariners would make sense. You could sort of flip-flop Logan Gilbert going to the Rays and Randy Arozarena going to the Mariners. That makes the most sense to me because they have needs. You got one team that needs some pitching, another team that needs an offensive player, and a good player. He's a good player. He's a good postseason player. And finally, and here's a new name to the list. And the word is that the Guardians are talking to the Dodgers for closer Emmanuel Clase. Now, that would be a huge blockbuster deal. And I did a short on the Dodgers having to make a trade because of the fact that Yamamoto puts him over 41 men on the 40-man roster. So a trade has to be made to get players off the roster. So maybe that's something that is being discussed behind the scenes. But you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to Baseball Hut 2, and I'll see you later.